So we're going to record this meeting so that I can actually post it for others to see. Today, I'd like to just start us off with our little Albert really quickly. If you open up to that blue page where it says John Watson, he was a very important figure in classical conditioning because he did the experiment on little Albert. Does anyone, so that was your 40 studies assignment that was due today. Does anyone have any questions about that experiment, how it went down, anything like that? Usually I get kids that'll say, like, what happened to him when he was an adult? Was he like fearful of like things as an adult, like furry things, et cetera, et cetera? And, you know, extinction is probably going to take place because as an adult, he's not going to be as fearful of loud noises. And so he wouldn't be continuing to be conditioned. However, the story ends kind of tragically. I believe one year I looked it up and little Albert died pretty young, actually. During that time, he didn't have the proper medical care that he needed to. So let's just quickly fill out that little box to wrap up little Albert so we can bring us back to our attention of the UCS, etc. So under John Watson's picture, there's the box. We did this yesterday in class if you followed along. All right, so what is my neutral, Alexa, please?
Would it be the white rat?
The white rat, that's right. Good. And then that also becomes my conditioned stimulus. All right. So Adam, what is my unconditioned stimulus?
The loud noise, right?
It is. And why is that my unconditioned stimulus?
Because if there was just the loud noise not connected with the rat, then it'd just be the noise and it wouldn't have any effect on him really other than making him jump, right?
Not quite. It does. The thing is it does have an effect on him, but it has an effect on him naturally, automatically, because he doesn't have to be taught to be afraid of loud noises. Okay, Jackson, what's our UCR, which is also our CR on that case?
Is it like the jump when he gets scared of the loud noise?
Or crying or fear, any of that would be appropriate. Good. Okay, so we're going to conclude John Watson. Hopefully you all read that, submitted that. Let's go to the next page where it says classical conditioning process, and there's a big chart at the top. It says generalization, discrimination, extinction, and spontaneous recovery. That is something I went through yesterday in class on that PowerPoint. Let's do number one together, and then I'm going to give you guys a moment to actually complete the rest of that chart on your own. Sinbad was frightened by a barking, lunging spaniel. Now he's afraid of all other dogs. Brian, what would be applicable for that? Is that generalization, discrimination, extinction, or spontaneous recovery?
Generalization.
Yep, that's correct. You guys go ahead, take a few moments to complete the rest of that on your own. When you finish, if you could unmute, and then I know you're ready to go. Questions? Yeah, sometimes it's just nice to be affirmed. On this course. Yeah. I thought not doing Okay, so again, just to remind you, unmute when you are ready and take as much time as you need. I just don't want to rush anybody. Whenever you're ready, Kenz and Jada, just go ahead and unmute, then I know you're good. If you're still working, keep working. Okay, so it looks like we are ready to go. So I'm just gonna call on you guys and we will have a quick conversation if there is something that we are like not sure about. Okay, number 2, what did you put, Kenz?
I put spontaneous recovery.
Okay, so let's look at that one. Sheila was frightened by a German Shepherd when she was 5, but now she's happy when she sees a dog. So at first she was conditioned to be afraid of it, but now she's happy. So what has happened to her?
She's like gotten over her fear.
Yes. So what would that be? Because it's no longer, she's no longer conditioned.
Extinction.
That's correct. Extinction is when it ends, the conditioning ends. Number 3, Soph,
I put discrimination.
that's correct. Number 4, Jada.
I didn't know what one to put for that one.
Okay, so when Kim was small, she got sick after eating a bad oyster. Now she can't eat anything that comes out of a sea, not just oysters, but fish, anything, clams, shrimp.
I forget the word for that one.
Okay, the choices are at the top: generalization, discrimination, extinction, spontaneous recovery.
Spontaneous recovery. Oh
No.
no.
Think about it like if you associate something else. What's another thing you are making it like, instead of being specific, you are being,
Generalization.
you are generalizing, right? It's more of a general thing. Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. Yep. Number 5, loose.
Discrimination.
Yes, that's correct. Number 6, Jackson.
Is it extinction?
No. So she finally recovered from her fear of roller coasters, but one night, so she doesn't have the fear anymore, but one night she was walking by the amusement park and then she suddenly screeched from the roller coaster.
Is it
Go ahead.
spontaneous recovery?
Yeah, like it's done, but then it comes back all of a sudden. That's exactly correct. Nice job. Okay. So from here, let's do Adam, number 7.
Extinction.
Yes, Brian, number 8.
Generalization.
No. So Ken used to drool at the smell of peanut butter cookies, and he couldn't wait to sink his teeth into the first cookie. However, Ken's new roommate makes terrible peanut butter cookies, and the smell of them baking is no longer associated to the wonderful taste experience.
Is it extinction?
It is. He no longer elicits that response. That's the one, number 8, that usually, if people have a hiccup on, that's the one people usually have a hiccup on. Miss Alexa, the last one?
I had spontaneous recovery.
That's correct, spontaneous recovery. Okay, everybody, take a look at the next page. All right, so what we are going to do now is I'm going to put you guys into breakout rooms. And you have 4 of you are each going to be in each breakout room. And I'm going to assign one room particular questions to do, and then the other room other questions to do. So go ahead and go into your breakout rooms, and then I will join them and tell you what to do. All right, guys. So you guys are going to do, and you can circle these, number 2, 4, and on the next page, troublesome shower. So what I would like you to do is take turns reading the question out loud, and then all of you converse and talk about what is the answer for the yes, the CS, the conditioned response. Have a conversation about it, because that's how you're going to learn from each other. I'll join you in a little bit. Does anyone have any questions? Okay.
All right, bet. I'll go first. I'll read the first one. It says, a boy is fond of sour pickles.
All right, guys, for you guys, you're going to do question number 1, 3, and the water show. It's on the next page. And what I want you to do is I want you to take turns reading the question out loud and then discuss the answers as a group in case you have any discrepancies. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, you can go ahead and get started. So you guys, someone needs to read that first question out loud. So just take turns doing that.
Okay, well, if no one else is gonna do it.
I got it.
Okay.
A young child who reaches out to pet a barking dog. A barking dog is bitten by the dog and cries. Every time she hears a dog bark, she whimpers. So UCR, that's the uncontrolled response, right? So that'd be her crying.
Yeah. Okay.
Wouldn't that be the same as the condition response?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because then her condition response is to whimper.
Yeah. And the neutral and condition stimulus or whatever it's called is the dog barking. I don't.
What's the uncontrolled stimulus? The dog biting her?
Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe.
I think the barking would be the unconditioned and conditioned.
Hmm?
I feel like the barking would be the unconditioned though.
But the fear like started when the dog bit her.
Oh, true, true.
Well, she reaches out to to pet a barking dog, and then she whimpers when she hears a dog bark, not exactly when she sees a dog, so. Would it just be the dog?
Mm,
Yeah, I think so. I think it
Oh.
would just be the dog.
For which one?
For the unconditioned stimulus? Or would that be the bite?
I don't know.
See, I was thinking it'd be the bite, but
You're
the
right,
dog.
Track. Yeah, bite is a good answer. Because just think about this, it's unlearned. So you have the opportunity to say, okay, would you just naturally have a response to a dog biting you? Any of us would, yes, that's an unlearned stimulus. So then what's the unlearned response to the dog bite?
For
The
crying.
crying.
The crying or the pain. Yes, exactly. Now go from there. Sometimes for me, it's easiest to figure out the neutral too.
Would the neutral just be the dog or would it be the dog barking?
The sound of the dog barking. Mhm.
So
And the-
neutral and then the learned one are both dog bark. Right?
And
No,
condition-
that's control stimulus.
Yeah. The controlled stimulus and the neutral stimulus is the dog bark. That's what I meant.
That's right.
Conditioned response would be like her crying, her whimpering.
Yeah, perfect. Nice job.
All right. Who's got number 3?
Nose goes.
All right.
Okay, so the unconditional response, honestly, I have no idea.
What do you guys on?
We're
The
on the
last-
last one, the
Troublesome.
shower.
You're
Troublesome. We skipped a couple on the other ones though, because on the first one we couldn't figure some of them out.
Let's go to the first one then first,
Okay.
if you guys don't mind. Are you talking about pickles?
It's number 2. Yeah.
Okay. What'd you put for your neutral?
I don't have, did you guys write anything for that? I didn't. I didn't know what to write.
Kind of were saying the pickles, but we weren't sure.
Yeah, we
What
were
is-
kind of unsure.
Ken, say that again.
We said the pickles, but we weren't exactly sure about that.
What sense with the pickles?
Oh, the smell.
The smell of the pickles. That's right.
That's the neutral?
Yeah, because if you just naturally smell pickles, probably not going to do much for
Yeah.
you, right? So that becomes your conditioned stimulus, correct? And then what's my unconditioned stimulus?
The taste of the pickles?
Eating them. That's right, eating them. And then what's that response to eating them?
Which one?
What's the UCR? What's the response to eating them?
Oh,
From
is it the saliva?
the
Like,
mouth watering. Yep, you got it. But so then you have your conditioned response is also now just smelling them. I'm going to actually create my saliva is going to go in my mouth. Did that help?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you just need to clarify it a little bit. Okay. You guys can go on to the next one.
Okay. Well, I mean, so would the unconditioned response just be like him staying under the shower head water?
Just like showering? Yeah, I think so.
I think it would be that he jumps away.
Wouldn't that be I think that's a conditioned, I want to say. Maybe? I don't know.
I feel like the condition is that he jumps away before the hot water comes, like right after the toilet flush.
Yeah. Can it be both?
Well, the conditioned stimulus is definitely like the flush, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which means the neutral stimulus is
Neutral
2.
as well, yeah.
Yeah. And then the conditioned response is that he gets out of the water.
Jump
Yeah.
out, right, yeah. What's the unconditioned stimulus?
The hot water.
Hot water.
So what are we saying the unconditioned response is? To like jump away from the water?
Is it just the shower?
I just have showering, yeah, that's what I wrote. I don't know though. Could be wrong.
Because she said in the first one it was just the pickles, so I don't know.
I think it can be the same. I think it can be like, I think it's also jumping away because, like, with the pickles, the unconditioned response was like salivating to the taste, but then the conditioned response was salivating to the smell. So I think it's just jumping away from the water.
Okay.
Is that complete for you guys?
Mhm.
Yeah, we just finished.
Okay, so in just a minute, I'm gonna have you guys come back to the large group. When I leave here, if you could each choose one of the actual acronyms that you're gonna read off the answer to. So like I'll say number 2, and then I'll say, okay, what's the NS? What's the CS? And then each of you be assigned to that particular acronym, and then just keep repeating it over. Make sense? Okay.
Yep. Who wants?
Is-
Yeah.
Okay, so conditioned is her feeling dizzy.
Yeah. And then conditioned stimulus is the music.
And unconditioned stimulus, is that like the heat?
Yeah.
Good to go?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna reconvene as a large group. And what I want you guys to do now is to choose one of the acronyms that you're gonna say the answer to for each of your questions. So somebody pick the UCR, somebody pick the UCS, et cetera, et cetera. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
I can do the uncontrolled response.
I'll do the unconditioned stimulus.
I got the neutral stimulus and the conditioned stimulus and said the same thing.
Which leaves me with the conditioned response, right?
Yep.
No, wait, wouldn't that be opposite?
All right, we're just gonna make sure we have everybody back here. Not quite yet. How do you guys feel about actually getting a problem like this and then being able to fill out the CS, the UCS, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah, I was hoping that it would be either like kind of here or like I'm feeling pretty good. So I was just asking this group like how you feel now since you've had some practice. Today was really geared for a practice day on applying these particular terms. I will be honest with telling you, these are the hardest ones you're going to see. The ones on your test will be easier. They're going to be really straightforward. So if you feel like you're getting the harder ones, you should be able to identify the easier ones on the test. So we're going to start with number 1. And if you didn't do number 1, the group that was not assigned, you can write the answers in now at this time so that you guys can go back and double check and give it a shot if you would like to try. So number 1, let's start with our neutral. What's our neutral on number 1? A child who reaches out to pet a barking dog is bitten by the dog and cries every time she hears the dog bark. She whimpers. Neutral,
The dog bark.
the sound of the dog bark, right? Which is also our conditioned stimulus. That is the sound of the dog barking. What is the unconditioned stimulus, the unlearned stimulus? UCS. We're on number
Sorry, I was on mute. The girl's fear of the dog. And
UCS,
like yeah,
not the unconditioned. The fear would be a response. So what's the stimulus that's going to cause the fear?
Oh, that was me. That was the
Okay.
dog
I
bite.
was like, wait.
Okay, UCS is the dog bite. That's right. So what's my UCR to the dog bite then?
That's the girl.
The girl what?
Cries.
The girl crying. That's right. And then my CR is,
Or whimpering afterwards.
yep, the girl whimpering afterward. Nice job. A boy is fond of sour pickles, which makes his mouth water whenever he eats them. He passes an open vat of pickles in the supermarket and he begins to salivate. My neutral,
It's the smell of the pickles.
which is also my conditioned stimulus. My unconditioned stimulus is UCS.
The
What's
taste.
that?
UCS is the eating of the sour pickles. That's right. My unconditioned response to eating the sour pickles,
Is that when he begins to salivate?
the mouth watering, the salivation. That's right. Then my conditioned response is,
The saliva.
yep, the saliva. Number 3, a boy who's trained in karate often practices by throwing mock punches at his sister. One day he accidentally hits her in the eye and he hurts her. From that day on, every time he raises his hand, his sister blinks. What's my neutral that would not cause a reaction normally?
Oh, the hand raise.
The hand raise, which is then eventually going to be learned, which is our conditioned stimulus. What's my unconditioned stimulus to this?
That would be like him punching her.
That's right, the punch. And then what's my unconditioned response to the punch?
Would it be like her blinking?
No,
Like flinching almost?
no.
Because she
this is-
doesn't,
She just got punched. What's your response to getting punched?
the pain.
The pain. That's right. So then what is my conditioned response?
The condition would be the blinking and the fear of getting hit again.
Yes, the blink, the natural blink. So guys, this is number 3 is a great example of your UCR and your CR being completely different. Remember I told you they're not always the same. The UCR is the pain she's feeling, because if I punched you in the eye, we'd have a pain. And then my CR is just the blink, the flinch of the eyes. Number 4, we were going together. A guy and his former girlfriend had a favorite record album which they listened to. Although they broke up over a year ago, whenever he hears a song from the album, a wave of bittersweet sadness comes over him. My neutral, that means nothing at the beginning.
We had like the album, like the music.
Hearing the song, so the song, okay? So that would be it. And that's also our conditioned stimulus. My unconditioned stimulus, UCS,
The music.
no. So that can't be the same. My UCS cannot be the same as my N neutral. Even if you weren't assigned this one, let's take a look at this one.
Is it the breakup?
No. The unconditioned, unlearned stimulus is going to be the girlfriend. So we're talking before the breakup is the girlfriend. So then what type of response does he have to the girlfriend? What's my UCR?
We had, is it like happiness or
It
something?
is, yes, yeah. So he's happy when he thinks of the girlfriend, but then the breakup happens. So then hearing the song, now he's associating it with the girlfriend. So now what's my CR for this one?
Sadness.
Yeah, do you see how those two are different? Number 5, you can just cross out. That's kind of a squirrely one. Okay, we'll go on to the troublesome shower. Martin likes to take a shower, so flip your page, in the men's locker room after working out. During one such shower, he hears someone flushing a nearby toilet. Suddenly, boiling hot water rushes out of the shower head, causing Martin serious discomfort. As he continues the shower, he hears another toilet flush, immediately jumps out from under the shower head. What's my neutral at the beginning of this one, which is also the conditioned stimulus?
We had the flushing of the toilet.
The sound of the flushing of the toilet. And that's the bottom one. If you look at that, and you guys are writing this in, it says conditioned stimulus. So the sound of the toilet. What is my unconditioned stimulus? The second one there.
Hot water.
The hot water. And what response does that give the person, the unconditioned response?
Oh, yeah. So we had showering for that. So that's definitely not right.
Yeah.
What is-
So if you have hot water that comes down upon you, what's going to be your natural response? Would you just stand there?
Like if you're trying to take a shower, yeah.
And it's boiling hot?
Oh no.
So what are you going to do?
I jump out.
You're going to get out of the way, right?
Yeah.
You're going to move away to the side because you don't want that pain. And so then what is my conditioned response whenever I hear of toilet flushing now? My CF.
Way.
Yep. Fear or jumping, getting out of the way. Nice job. Last one, the water show. Jeanette was happy when she heard about her family's plan to go to a water sports show. Then she heard the weather report, which predicted temperatures exceeding 100 degrees. Jeanette suspected that the weather would be hard to bear, but she went to the show. As she watched the water skiers perform taxing routines to the blaring organ music, she got more and more sweaty and uncomfortable. Eventually, she fainted from the heat. After the family outing, Jeanette could never again hear organ music without feeling dizzy. What's my neutral on this one?
The organ music.
That's correct, which is also, he's going to learn to associate that later. What's my unconditioned stimulus? UCS?
That would be like the heat.
Perfect. What's my unconditioned response to the heat?
The dizziness.
Well, she actually did something here. Eventually, she fainted. So it's the fainting that's going to be the response from the heat. And the reason why that's important is because what is our conditioned response on this one?
That's where she faint or is dizzy. Her conditioned response is to be dizzy.
Yes, she doesn't actually faint, but she just has that dizzy feeling. So these two, again, good example of how the UCR is different than the CR. So this is what you'd be expected to do, you guys, for the test. You will get a scenario. It's not going to be as complicated. You're going to have to say, what is the conditioned stimulus, et cetera, et cetera. I wanted today to just be a practice day so you guys could, see where you feel your own gauge and go, you know what, I'm pretty good. I'm understanding these terms. I know how to plug them in. If you want a little bit more practice, if you turn the page, I have a sheet that says practice on your packet, and then I have the answers. I would suggest if you are confused at all, or you're just feeling a little bit of gray waters in this, give that a shot and try that out. And then you can check your own answers on the following page. Your homework tonight is to read pages 223 to 227. Get that 40 studies done. I'll be grading that after school today probably. So, and then I will close the submissions and then everything will be considered late after that. Anybody have any last minute questions or anything? So just to remind you, I will potentially see you on Thursday or Friday. If not, you can tune into a Zoom and watch the recording. Jada, if you could hang around after everybody leaves, everybody else have a great day. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.
Do you know when our tests will be in the grade book?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna put them in Thursday or Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. See ya. Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hey, so I thought we could chat about trying to set up a time for you to come in and get the clarifying points on the test.
Okay.
Does tomorrow or Friday work for you?
Yeah, either works, whatever's best for you.
Okay, I'm free both days. Well, I'm here both days.
Okay.
So,
We
I
can do it
think-
tomorrow.
okay, so tomorrow, like, 12:30, that would be a good time. for
Okay,
me.
yeah, that works.
Okay, so I'll put you down for Thursday. Do you have to finish the test too, or is it just going
No,
over?
it's done.
Okay, so we'll go over your questions on that and then I'll be able
Okay.
to score that. Okay,
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
bye-bye.